We're live.
All right. We're back with World's Strongest Opinions, episode 31 with Sam Belliveau, 22 middleweight amateur, world amateur champion at the Arnold? Is that what it's considered?
Yeah, it's the Arnold Amateur World Championship. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I stumbled over that because I want to say World Championship, but I think they technically call it the World Amateur Championship. But 2022 World Champion, right? Current world record on the dumbbell, which I think everybody's seen. You've recently exceeded dramatically in training.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show.
I've nailed down the technique that works for me. It's just about really nailing it down all together. Like, I think I'm strong, but there's a lot of women's out there that are strong too, right? So just need to, it's the technique. Dumbbell is so technical. And I think that day I could have hit 200. And but I got to save it for when it's like on a podium or on a platform, right? So,
right.
And I knew 195 was good enough for the video submission. Or at least up there. So, but I only had 4 weeks after the Arnold to prep for that. And it was the solid 5 weeks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, clearly you were ready enough. I mean, I think you took second. Is that right on the qualifier?
The 3 events I came in second. Yeah. I pulled some big PRs for myself. I felt really good after the Arnolds. I didn't think the Arnolds beat me up that much. So I was like, hey, let's go. And I had just moved back here in my hometown, and I have my old training partner back, and things are just we're the mood and everything was just right. I'm back home closer to my family, and my prep after the Arnolds, I was like, okay, let's go back at it, and everything was just coming together, and I had 5 weeks to prep for it, and yeah, I hit 195 and it felt really good.
It looked really good. It looked very strong. I mean, you say you think you're strong, but I think it's very clear that you are very strong.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, your submission videos were amazing. All of them were really impressive. So I was like, and the lockout. It was nice to see a strong circus dumbbell lockout. It's always good to see.
Yeah.
Everything. Especially after World's Strongest Man. That's been kind of the talk of the community, I think.
Yeah. And my training partner hit 303 dumbbell.
Wow.
With a video submission, and it's cool to see that there's only 2 guys right at Worlds that hit it. I think.
Yeah. 302 guy. Yeah, Evan and Mitch hit the 140K dumbbell 308.
Solid, and it's so solidified. I'm like, hell yeah! It was cool.
Yeah.
Really got it after watching Worlds. We're like, okay, let's hit big dumbbells now.
No, that was really great.
Yeah.
Everything. Because that's real exciting.
Yeah.
So is that your next big show that you're prepping for, the Shaw Classic?
Yeah, it'll be it's in 15 weeks. I really need to start just working on things that I wasn't really focusing on, getting ready for these videos and the Arnolds, and I haven't stopped prepping almost since I think July. I've always had constant or August, constantly having shows and big shows, and then so now I need to take a good few weeks to just hammer down some weaker points, and then ramp up for the Shaw Classic.
Yeah. Have the events been released? I'm a little out of the loop on that, so you don't know what the events are yet.
No.
Any ideas? I mean, you guess you just got to show up strong, right? I mean, that's.
I have no idea. I think last year they had a log, a deadlift, and farmers in the qualifiers, and we had log, deadlift, and a frame. So if we take these 3, it's going to be a dumbbell, probably a dumbbell for reps, which I would hope for, and then there'll be a deadlift for sure. I mean, Brian doesn't go without a contest without a deadlift, right? In some sort. Yeah. And then there'll be 3 more events. There'll be a grip frame or farmers, and then hopefully a yoke. I don't know if I want to do sandbag toss again. I had such a great prep last year for the Shaw Classic, and I got to the show and I just I don't know. I wasn't there, so I messed up hard on it. But I mean, any good explosive event would be cool in there, like a medley or
Yeah.
yeah,
How do
maybe.
you how did you respond to the altitude? Was that a factor competing? Because it's up in Estes Park, correct?
No, it's like in Denver.
Oh,
So
it is. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was up in Estes.
no, so we're like at even grounds, which I didn't really feel it as much compared to like the years before, where like when Max was competing up in SC Spark, it was pretty bad. But again, like I had such an off show that I don't know if it was. I don't think it was because of the things, but like things were just not kind of clicking the whole time. So I didn't really think it affected me. I think
That's good.
yeah.
That's good. I mean, you would be an exception, I think, if that was the case. Because I live here. I live in the Denver area, and my first 3 months that I lived here were atrociously hard to acclimate to the elevation for me.
Like in Denver, like in like not up in the mountains.
No, I'm down in the Denver area. I'm South Denver. Yeah.
No, I only felt it like when we went up in the mountains, actually.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Brian takes us there the day after the comp, and we go and do guides with all the boys. And it's funny because that last year I was stuck with Ivar, and he was driving like a maniac, anyways. And I had such a hard time to breathe, and I was like laughing and crying, and like what felt like 5 hours. I nearly like I was so drained, but I'm like I was just caught off. Like I had no energy, and nothing left, and I was like, yeah, I'm drained.
That's a good day though.
Yeah.
Especially right after competing. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I feel it now. Yeah.
But though, no, that sounds like pretty good events though. It sounds like he picks pretty good ones, because usually it's like you said, those 3 events and like a medley, then something explosive.
Yeah. He's bringing the chest press Shaw Classic for one of the events for the pro men, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So what's that? What the chest press? What is that?
A standing chest press machine.
It's in place of the leg press this time, or unless he's still doing the leg press. Sorry, I think your sound cut out. Maybe.
Am I still there?
Oh yeah. Now you're back.
I can hear you. Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit, but yeah, you're there.
Yeah, I think they still have the leg press.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know the 1 year Trey was not a fan of that thing. I forget the leg press.
No, that was scary. That was so terrifying. Yeah, that was quite like when I think it was Novikov that went first, and like when he unracked it, the whole crowd, like I was up in the bleachers because Max was like only a few, like he was one of the last to go, or like at the bottom. I think he was last to go. And the first guy that went, Novi, when he unracked, the whole crowd just kind of went like silent. We were all terrible, like because it started like shaking a little bit, and like there's this like teeny, like you're up in the stands, there's this teeny little, this massive car on top of it, but you're like, what's going on? And then he starts coming out and it's shaking, and like I couldn't even breathe. I was like, what's going on? It was a terrifying event, but the guys, I think they're gonna make it. Obviously, like they are putting a seatbelt in this year, and I think they're gonna probably make it that it's gonna stick. But it's a cool event for sure.
Yeah, adding a little bit of safety features just in case, maybe.
But wasn't safe. I'm just saying, as a fan, it was like, it was terrifying.
Yeah, it looked terrifying. So, who do you think is going into this? I'm sure you've been glued to the lists, to the qualifier list. There's a lot of Canadians I notice in the top 10.
I think we're 6 or 7.
Yeah,
it's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited because this kind of just says that like sports growing. Like girls, I think it's 6. That means like that's a large number for what a country like just started really growing in the last few years, and like, you know, we're trying to keep up to the States and the UK, and seeing the potential now that we have here in Canada, I think it's so cool.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Who would you say is your biggest competition going into the show?
There is quite a couple ladies. It's going to be, I think, a big battle. If you think about it, there's Mel Peacock, so
Mm.
another Canadian, Olga. There's going to be Corey Butler, Jackie, another Canadian, uh, and then Jackie. I'm not sure if I'm going to say her name right. Jackie Rods.
Yeah, Jackie
Yeah,
Rhodes, I
I
think.
think it's Rhodes. Yeah,
I just chatted with her tonight, but like I didn't really know who she was before, and she's competed at like shows that I from people that I've been, or my athletes, so she kind of knows who I am, and it's gonna be exciting to meet new girls, and I think it's gonna be a really good show. Like everyone's gonna bring their best package because it's the Shaw Classic and it's Brian's last comp, and I think it's gonna be a really motivating prep for everyone. So I'm excited to see everyone throw down, and strongman, it's always may the strongest person win that day.
right. That day, I always have to remind people in my circle that the only day that matters is competition. Like if you're having a bad day in training, don't worry about it because the only day that matters is competition. But you know, also
Training and
like
not
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So
It's crazy
maybe
looking at the numbers people put up for their attempts, though. Just going
Crazy.
through the leaderboard, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
many of them. I'm like, yeah, because Jackie Rose, her farmers, 576 is no joke for a
It's
9-second run.
I think that's like
jeez.
290 or 280 per hand.
Yeah,
Crazy.
boy.
And
And
9 seconds was her time.
there was a
Yeah,
lot. There was a lot less girls this year that try to qualify than last year. Uh, that was kind of unfortunate to see. I thought it was going to be a bigger pool of women wanted to compete at that stage. Uh, but again, I'm just super happy to see that we have six incredibly strong women that are going to be able to showcase for Canada.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
It is impressive because I always forget that Canada's significantly smaller population wise, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, like your New York City is like our pop Canada.
Oh,
That's crazy.
that
I
is
think
crazy.
you have more land mass than us though. So
Oh, yeah, we have
yeah.
lots of.
Plenty of
not
space.
very inhabitable, but you've got a lot of land mass.
It's always good. Yeah, I still couldn't believe the circus dumbbell. The fact that you had more in the tank with 195 is still wild to see, especially compared to some of the other numbers. Because I was thinking Mel's number, I was like 165 is pretty big
Yeah, once
for
it,
a qualifier.
yeah, like I remember when I started. I remember that like when I first started doing circus dumbbell was when I moved back, so 4 years ago, and right away I hit, like not right away, but like a couple weeks. Like I remember it was not a long period of time. I hit the black circus dumbbell, which was like a step when like I felt like if people did the black dumbbell, it was like you're cool, right? All the guys in the gym or whatever, and it was 130, and the guys kept playing with it, and I was like, I want to press it too, like, so I pressed it super quick, but my form was really crap, so I couldn't like. It took me a long time to make progress, but after I got hurt 2 years ago doing axle clean and press, I had to like change my on every lift. Like every single lift I had to change. Even to this day, there's certain things, especially moving movements that I'm still not sure like how to walk yet or how to step or what's weak and what's not. And because my pelvis took a huge hit when the axle fell on me. Um, so one thing I really changed was my circus dumbbell and that's where like when I changed my form, like I was able with that new technique to add 10 pounds every, I don't know, 6 weeks, 6 to 8, and which was, it's a
Wow.
lot. And like when I lead up to Clash on the Coast, that's where I was doing those jumps, and And then yeah, I hit that. And then after the Arnolds, I was like, okay, I can like I was doing like during the Arnold prep, we were doing log, but I was like I still had a dumbbell. But then I stopped like I think maybe 6 or 8 weeks before the Arnolds. So when I got back to the Arnolds after that, I was still kind not fresh, but still like I had it in me. So I started pressing some really good like triples and fives, and right before and then I hit the 170, or in my backyard I hit one. It was 190, and then I was like, and then I did my drop set at 175 for three, and I was doing like really good triples, and I was like, I think I want to try to hit 195 just to like right before the 200. Like I want to hit the first 200, and like it would be really cool to do it. Period, but try to peak for that perfect timing to be in front of a stage or in front of a
Yeah.
crowd stage, right? Um, like, but I think yeah, it's there. But talking about form change, that's definitely something I had to do.
Was that because of pain associated with the injury that you
Yeah,
had to change your form?
yeah. I had to change my form. I had to change even like everything. Like I changed my form. I changed my way of training. I changed exercise and move that were obviously like to rebuild my pelvis area all the way up to like my like even my core. Like I had to get everything stronger, which changed my body composition quite a lot since then. And like that's when I was able to like really focus on the technique, the work, and yeah,
Right.
dumbbell just it comes.
Yeah. Well, it sucks that it took a nasty injury for that to
Yeah.
happen, but like,
So yeah.
Yeah, your technique was phenomenal, though. How long did the initial recovery, take after that?
Initial like a good 6 months, like before like I started like barbell work, doing a lot of TRX work, even like going for a walk. Like the first couple months, it was like to go out for a walk without initial pain. Like I couldn't sleep at all. Like um, and like anything, I couldn't. It was actually unbearable. But like and I hadn't like broken anything, and so the doctor told me like I was super lucky. But I wonder if I would have broke it, if today I wouldn't be dealing with this. I'd be fixing and but like anyways, everything happens for a reason. I became a way better athlete just being aware of like injuries and like recover. Like I do a lot of um like Carroll, he does a lot of spine recovery and a lot of rehab. Even like Louis, you listen to these guys talking about like how to become like unbreakable, like make your spine stronger, make your core stronger, make your those muscles and those that we don't really think about. And since then, like that's why like everything's been just going really good.
good, good. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think injuries tend to happen regardless, but a lot of times they do. They happen because
Yeah,
we're ignoring weaknesses, we're ignoring pain. I mean, even pain or mobility.
yeah,
And it's so important that people are focusing on prehab, rehab, right, and all of that. Because it just, I mean, to be a well-rounded athlete in general, yeah, I think more athletes need to focus on all that stuff.
yeah. No, it's true. And when you become aware of all that, like you just become you become better, like a better coach afterwards. You become a better mentor. Now I can go to like even just talking to people, and let's say their back hurts, when I'm like, okay, well try the McGill 3 like a couple times a day and see if that works. And then they come back and they're like, oh my god, just those three little like yeah, I mean like it's called spine health. Like we have
Yeah,
spine, and it's like it's the middle of our body. Like it's what holds us up now.
absolutely, absolutely. And probably one of the most vulnerable parts of our body too in strongman.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from biceps, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're in there long enough, you're gonna tear a bicep.
Yeah. Such a strong bicep.
Yeah, but that's at least very recoverable.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've had a really great recovery, though, of like your performance at the Arnold was really great. How is that competing against people like on that stage?
Yeah. That stage was definitely the next step for strong women, and that need. It was like incredible, like being in front of all these peoples and like seeing your Canadian flags everywhere and like just people like screaming on top of your lungs when like you're doing something that brings joy for you and it brings joy to other people like that. I think that's just so badass. Like after the frame, like I got up like on that frame and like looked at everyone and like I was like, this is so cool. Like thank you, right? Like I think it's just everyone deserves to have these moments. I find like it's cool and like to be able to be put on a stage with the top 10 pro strongman in the world and like beside like being like compared to these guys because like you're on that stage too and it's like it was crazy. The women's are insane. Like it's so cool to watch. Like I fangirl my competitors because they are such great athletes and like all 9 of them there, they were just incredible. Like it was so cool and to be part of it, it's pretty dope. We got to do like so many iconic events like the Wheel of Pain. Like that was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's beautiful and like it's a true test of like it's like quicksand, right? It's like a pure test, and yeah, it was fucking cool from mental to physical. It was crazy. I think it was more mental.
Right. I mean, I think a lot. I mean, because you're just pushing beyond exhaustion, right? And just how do you train? How do you train for something like that
I
without?
I did. My coach was so good. Like I had a different coach now, but he was a great coach for my Arnold prep. But especially for this, he would make me do like yoke push, and then I would do circuits like right in between my heavy yoke push. I would do like stupid numbers, like which I think are like from I started with 15s, but I was doing like 25 jump squats, and then I would do like I think 15 stand back to shoulder, and then uh, there was something else. Oh yeah, dumbbell heavy Russian twist right back to yoke push, and like I think like those training were so much worse than what the Wheel of Pain was. Uh, but still, like the Wheel of Pain, I did about like a good 50 seconds, I think, before I stopped. I got my first break, and like it was it was so cool to do. Like it was a really cool challenge.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I don't know if I've ever talked to anybody that's actually done that event. I know it looks cool from the crowd perspective, but knowing that from the athlete perspective that it's a very valuable event also, it's just, I mean, brings a lot of value to that competition and that
yeah.
event itself.
It was like that was our first event, and I was 10th to go, so it was last, which was kind of
Nice.
cool, but super nerve wracking. Like for like my perspective of it was that like there was some like women's were falling everywhere where I hadn't really put them at, so I was getting fucked up in my head, and I was like, "What the fuck's going on? Is this gonna be extremely heavy?" Like, oh my god! And then the day that before in the testing, um, I mean, we were like, I don't know, I was probably in flip flop. No, I had shoes on, but like, no belts, no adrenaline more than that. And I went to push it, and it felt heavy, and I was like, okay, we'll go at it tomorrow. And so like, I was getting in my head, and then I was like right beside the Wheel of Pain, and Steve Slater was beside me, and I was like, and he was like looking at me, and it was like calming me down. He's like, "You got this." Okay.
Nice.
So then when the whistle blew, I completely shut down for the first like 20 seconds. I just had a job to do. Like my coach had taught me like my footwork, my hip work, and like when to accelerate and stuff. And so I knew I just had to like put my hands on the thing and then just get to work for those like 20 seconds. And then after that, when I don't know if I opened my eyes or I started focusing down, I started seeing names like I have no idea what names, but they were just going by. So I was like, okay, I'm not last. I'm moving. So I was like, I'm motivated now. I'm going. I felt like a choo-choo train. So I'm like, I'm going. And then when it was like a break wall. It was like, boom, right now you're tired. So I
Yeah.
stopped and I saw it was I saw that I passed Long, and then I saw Thompson just in front of me. So as the Wheel of Pain kicked back to me, I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can bench press this thing. So I And so as it's coming to me, like thinking like it could go both ways. Either it kicks me back, and I made a fun of I just make a fool of myself on live fucking um, YouTube from Rogue, or I actually get a little push, and as it comes back, I just hit it right on time, and it came, and then I passed Andrea, and I was like, oh my god, that was great, and then that was like it was such a big relief, saying like, okay, cool, I could do this.
Nice.
I'm not
How do
gonna
you?
die.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you feel that? I mean, as that is a first event, I mean, that's got to be very, very taxing going into, I mean, pressing events, especially,
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, it was like I was pretty gassed out. But we have such a good crew in the back. Like right away, Becky and Dr. Todd came. They stretched my calves were pretty beat up. My core was pretty on fire too.
Yeah.
But then other than that, like cause I was using a lot of my hips, like my low back didn't really seize up or anything. So then I had time to go to the hotel, and I think I took a nice bath or my compressions. I did something quick on my legs, and when I got to the log press, I started warming up, and my legs felt fresh. So I was like,
That's great.
cool. We still had a
Nice.
few hours, was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I was going to ask if you could actually, like, while you're doing that, I couldn't imagine you'd actually be able to, like, read the names too well. But that's nice to actually have those markers to know
Yeah,
where
they
you're
have
at.
those big markers. Yeah.
Because you feel bad for the person who goes first because it's so hard because it's like
The
such a
markers.
taxing thing.
I know, and it was Mel actually. Poor girl, she draws one, but she did great still. But it's definitely gonna be a different mine because like my first couple names that were going by, like I wasn't seeing the name per se, like as at the end, but like for the moment, it was still giving me a like, fuck yeah, like you're passing people, though, like those are number like points, right? So it was
Yeah.
kind of a source of motivation for sure. It was a
Makes,
bonus.
yeah.
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 I
What
can
about,
imagine though being first, going in and being like, God, I have to do like I have to leave it all on the floor.
All of it.
yeah. Because that's brutal. Just that spin back, like you said, like you don't know
Yeah.
what to do with that much weight
And it
rolling
kicks
back
in.
up.
But yeah, it's cool. And then Rebecca did like a full turn and some change, which was incredible. Like she's a force. It's so crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It was crazy watching her on that, and then her log clean technique was one of the wildest ones I've seen.
I know,
Of
I
just bouncing it up, like
know.
I was like, that's
It's,
crazy.
I know. No,
It's like,
the log I need to respect it because I'm gonna smash my head or like I am such a klutz on log. I need to like literally do my technique like
yeah, that's the thing that was impressive to watch of just like being able to just do pure muscle, no technique on the log, or like just
yeah, it
a
was crazy.
wild thing. What did you think about the point system they used for that? Because that was a tough one. Of like you'd have to do like
I
11
know.
reps on this lighter log to even equate to like one, the heavier
It's
one.
cool because I don't mind a trump like for me and like well it was cool because it was divided like there was five girls that did the heavier no four girls that did the heavier log and then six that did the lighter log. So I think it was cool division. They actually chose the weights perfectly, because they still gave it a really good run with that 270, um, 5 reps. That's just crazy. And then we got to battle it out with the 220. But like during my prep, this was a really big focus. Like I had to blend in two types of like of peak. Like I needed to peak for my conditioning 220, but also get really strong and hit that two, which was we were told 260, but the wood came a little um, heavier, so it ended up being 270, and I was like, I hit 255 for some singles at the gym, so like 260 was gonna be a PR, but like 270, I was like, I'm gonna give it a go, but I was ready for the 220 as well, which was it was actually like it was a hard like me and log don't really get along, but to be able to pull off a really good log prep like that, I was super happy. I didn't get the 270, but it was a long shot. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, that's a tough one, and especially if you're going against like Andrea Thompson,
you
it's just
know,
like her log abilities. Like you can't. It's really hard to go against that.
I know, and even Victoria Inez did 4 reps, and then Who else? Olga got two reps
Yeah.
or
So
three.
Olga got 4 reps and Inez got 3.
Okay, yeah, I was. Yeah,
But yeah, 5 reps though on that
that's
huge log
crazy.
is just
Like,
crazy.
just like that's next level.
Is Andrea as nice as she seems? Because in her YouTube videos and everything, she just seems like the most like polite British woman. Like
Yeah,
she just seems so sweet.
yeah. All the British women are so nice. Like, I think they're the best. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
that was a good one.
They're really good people. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good crowd there and
yeah.
everything.
It's
It's
really
interesting.
cool.
Yeah, comparing
And
that
the guy,
to.
I like, because I get to witness that with Max, and like,
Mhm.
I think it's so cool how like some of them are like my brothers now because like I go to Max's comp and I like if their wife's like around, I'll help her with like them or whatever, and like we all help each other, and like it's so cool to be able to like they're like our strongman family. So it every time we travel and see everyone, it's like it's a family reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's always exciting, and it's nice that you guys get to travel together. Because I was
yeah,
going to say, do you all coordinate your prep together then,
yeah,
and like do
yeah,
everything together? Make sure you get your recovery and stuff on point.
yeah. It's been working for a couple like since we started going out. We just make sure that like our schedules are our priorities. I don't think I've never gone to the only show I've never gone to with Max was World's Strongest Man, his first year.
Hmm.
I think that was the biggest bullshit ever. I was so upset. But other than that, we've always like aligned our prep. It was just because of COVID I couldn't go, but
Oh
um,
yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was the worst.
Yeah, the travel restrictions back then. I keep forgetting about that
It was
sometimes
bad
because
for the first couple months. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, here in the US, I mean, I know the first year 21 Clash, the only international athlete that could get in was Isaac Mays from Canada. Everybody else was blocked from getting into the US. It
from
was
overseas,
from overseas. Yeah.
Toronto just scored.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys can hear him
No, I can see the flashing, but that's
screaming. Sorry.
awesome.
No, yeah, like but the thing at World's Strongest Man 2, it was almost a Canadian American show. There was a couple guys from the UK, but every other international country wasn't allowed to
Yeah.
World. But yeah, Clash, I remember that was a big one too.
Yeah. Yes, this is weird because I think it was easier to get into Europe than it was to get into the US.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was so fucked up. I'm so happy we're over that.
Right?
Like, like that was the only show that I didn't go with Max. But like after that, like we didn't work because we were personal trainers and our gyms were closed. So Max like signed up for a bunch of shows, but he could still travel because he had like an athlete visa, right? But I could go with him too as a coach. So we would travel all the time. But like just traveling was so terrifying, and like you would get caught in lines for like bullshit, and like it was just
Yeah.
it was not a good time to be traveling. But we had to work, go to
Right.
the shows, get an income, and we did it for that whole time during COVID, and it was worth it. But it was
Right.
so
Right.
hard.
Yeah. No, I traveled once in 21 to Finland and it was absurd. The hoops we had to jump through. And then I got searched at the border too because they were like, "Why are you here?"
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How long were your gyms closed then? Because that would be real tough if that's your primary source of income.
Well, the thing is that like the gym that we trained at, and we were shut down. We went home for like I think it was like 2 months, but then we kind of renovated our backyard and stuff, and we started doing. We had like a gazebo, and we had like a yoke with a squat rack, bars and stuff, and we would train people there. So we didn't go back to
Nice.
the gym that we were working at. We actually started in our backyard, and then after that, by the time we were able to go back to work, which I think was like it was a long time, man, and it was on and off too, right? It was like 6 months, and then you open for 2 weeks. Oh, it's bad again. Close it back. Like it was such a mind fuck. But we ended up like opening. We went from like a garage bay to a bigger bay. So we were renting, and we were we opened up like a private studio where we were before. So I mean, COVID was tough, but we didn't stop. Like we maybe stopped for a few months, and I was doing like boot camps in our kitchen, like online for like groups of people. Like I was like,
That's
nah,
awesome.
this is not cutting it. Like let's do something. So we just said, okay, let's fucking work our gym up. And like Bells of Steel was amazing. They helped us help them like do come up with product idea like test machines and all of that for them. So we had a really good partnership with them, and
Nice.
we ended up having our studio, and then now we're working on opening like a pretty big public gym here in Atlantic,
Nice.
Canada. So
Very cool.
yeah, COVID was good for that, but not for the traveling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
travel.
yeah.
Travel was so weird. Everything. It was nice being in Texas during COVID because it didn't last very long once people realized that 2 weeks was never going to stop. So we were
Yeah.
lucky as far as that
That's
went.
so
too.
true, and I envy that. I think that's cool. I think people just went so dark here for so long, and I was like, I'm happy we didn't have to like we made we worked like our studio. We had a private studio, and like they shut down like everything. We had to survive, and it was survival mode.
Yeah.
And like if you get tested and your neck, or I don't know, we went to what point? We didn't. I mean, we if you were sick, don't come. You know, don't be in contact. We did those protocols and stuff, and we kept people mentally okay, like okay. You know, people were going really dark without exercising there for months and months, and
Right.
during the winter time, like where we used to live, Thunder Bay, like it's a pretty rough place. Like if you've watched a documentary on Crave, if you haven't, you should. It's Thunder Bay, and it talks about the city, how about a lot of like how the city is, or what there's something going on in Thunder Bay, and like it gets dark. Like it's a super isolated place. It's like dark all like for winter time. It's pretty dark all the time and little sunlight. And it's it's isolated. There's nothing else to do. So we had to just like work, and we were like, okay, we're personal trainers and athletes. We're gonna be personal trainers, and we're gonna train all the time. So that's what kept us busy. And when we moved here, we just brought our whole gym. And but yeah, like it's pretty cool.
I have to check this out now. There's a documentary on Thunder Bay.
I was about to say I was making a note of that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's 4 episodes. It goes real quick, and like, and it talks about like the indigenous and the justice system, and like our gym was like super open, and we're really close with the indigenous people and the reserves up north, and like we helped a lot of younger kids go through some stuff. Like there's actually a girl from there that's coming to rehab to hear this. She wants to see us, and like we're in really good connections with them, and they've been really good people. And that documentary kind of like hits home in that sense. But I'm also very happy to be here, like with my family, and like that was a cool experience for us to be there for 4 years in Thunder Bay. But yeah.
So you think COVID made it? I mean, whatever was going on there, you think COVID just definitely made it worse because people, because I mean, it was a surprising. Like, I don't want to jump into the whole COVID thing too much, but it was surprising how, I think all of our like local governments in general, just like completely avoided the conversation of the benefits of fitness.
Yeah. And gathering and social gathering, like the iron is one thing, but like going to the gym and knowing you're gonna see other people that are generally, in the same mindset as you at one point, like it brings enlightenment. It's endorphins and like training, and it's good. But and then saying that you can use the iron or go to the gym, like, and it was rough for a lot of people. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, because you're right. I mean, fitness not only is good physically, but you're right. Like the socialization aspect of it is we're social creatures, and being isolated is not healthy. I mean, if you have an unhealthy mind, you're going to have an unhealthy body, right?
Yeah. And then like, kids gotta stay busy some way. And like I find it's cool because since COVID, there's still a lot of positive. And I think from the gym
Sure.
community is that the gyms are fucking blowing up here. I don't know about you guys
Good.
where you're at, but
Oh yeah.
like the public gyms are so crammed. People are aware that they need to be healthy, and I think it's great for the gym community, for the strongman community. Like our federation, like is growing like crazy. We have athletes from across Canada, just like really excited to compete, and it's cool to see that like physical activity and sports are like a main focus again because it keeps kids busy, it keeps older people busy, it keeps people out of trouble.
Yeah. That's my excuse.
Yeah.
Right, me too. Me too.
It makes a big difference because I actually didn't really do as much strongman stuff until 2020 because I worked in an office and I realized without having the office, there was just like no socialization. And strongman here in Texas were the only people who just like pretended COVID didn't exist and just kept doing things. So it was like that community made a big difference of like not seeing people is like something that was huge. I remember one of the most shocking statistics, I think it was late 2020, that at least here in the States and Tennessee, there was a 2 week period where there were more suicides than COVID deaths in the state of Tennessee. And I'm like, that's a shocking statistic. Like that's something that's completely like just went
Suicides, drug
unnoticed.
overdoses.
Yep, everywhere.
We can go on and on.
And then finally get demonetized if we ever do.
Right.
That also was the crazy part is you couldn't talk about it for like that first
No,
year.
but
So
it was
there's like,
scary.
yeah.
I was afraid of Googling it because I'm like, oh my God, someone's going to know I'm Googling about COVID and they're going to think I have COVID and then I can't go around people. Like they get into your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what a crazy time to be
I'm
alive,
so
right?
happy it's over.
Yeah.
The gyms are
Yeah.
busy though. Sometimes it's annoying, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
is a good thing. And I agree.
It's a
I've
good
noticed that too. Like the gyms here are just insane. I mean, even I go to a private gym too, and it's grown dramatically,
Yeah,
which is good for the owners, but it's so busy now.
you know.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
good though.
we had to transition from like we had our own gym for 2 years, and then when we moved here, our gym wasn't set up like our building, so we went 3 months. Yes, 3 months at a public gym. Even
Oh man.
class like no, well it wasn't a okay wait yeah almost 12 almost 3 months yeah no at a public gym and like working with just like a barbell and like a stiff barbell where like like you were like it's crazy and then the gyms were busy and I was like oh my God I miss my gym. I miss my
Right?
stuff.
Yeah, especially when the guys are curling in the squat rack that you want to
Yeah.
use. Yeah.
Or the women's are breaking the bench because they do the hip press all on the
Right.
same side so all the bench press now are like
Oh
this
yeah.
because of all the hip press. I'm like oh
That's
my
funny.
God.
That
That's
never
funny.
occurred to me. I wondered why some of the benches sometimes when I'd go to like big techs, I was like, I never understood why. I was like, how did these get so uneven? Because I was
Well,
like, they're getting even pressure,
yeah,
but
all the
that
big
makes sense.
booties out there.
Yeah.
Change big booties for crooked benches. So
There you go.
That's true. That's a worthwhile trade when you describe it that way.
That's a worthwhile trade.
every guy out there probably agrees.
Yeah.
Well, that's wild though. It's interesting to think about that, like how much has happened then, and like looking at your career since then, like you've done a ton of stuff since all that.
Yeah.
And everything, like overcoming injury, being able to like go on the world stage and like do all these things, especially at like your weight class. Like that's
Yeah.
the crazy part of like 82 kg. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. I went up to like no, I've been around the same weight now since Clash. I cut down for middleweight, maybe like for Clash for maybe like 6-7 pounds, and I'm about the same now. But it's not that like I eat a lot of good food, but I'm not like bodybuilding strict. My body's really happy where it's at, so I like to keep it there. I find I recover super well, and I move better. Like when I first started, I was like maybe 35, 40 pounds heavier, and like I just wasn't really comfortable. Um, but now I move way better. I don't know if at that weight I could have at my leverages and stuff jumped with 195 pound in my hand, right? Like I think it was just a really good thing for me to stay at an 82 kilo level and
Yeah. was going to ask that because so many athletes we talk to do cutting and everything, but you kind of stick around there.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing something like the Shaw Open, that must be great to not even have to think about the weight part of it.
Or the Arnold. Yeah.
Yeah, the Arnold, like that.
Yeah.
That's nice. But that makes sense of like Darren and I, like we've talked about that. Like when you gain weight, it changes your leverages of like
Yeah.
deadlift wedging is harder. And like you
Yeah.
said, like you've added 30 pounds that you need to jump with and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like all those things. And
Yeah.
it's always impressive to be able to like maintain that level of strength and be at the world stage at that size. It's like
Yeah.
just an incredible accomplishment and
Mhm.
everything. Because that was like very, very impressive to see and stuff. So I'd like to see how that goes, and then it'll definitely be good seeing the Shaw Classic
Yeah.
and everything. It's weird that less people signed up. That really surprised me.
Yeah.
It seemed like it would be more
There was a lot
popular.
of girls. There's a lot of guys, but there's also a really big reward to the guys. Like first place does get to go with the pro guys the next year. But I mean, I just think it's so incredible to be able to compete with like Brian Shaw on Brian Shaw's stage, like with Brian Shaw's equipment. Like, why not?
Right.
For
Yeah,
me,
why not?
the experience is so cool, and like I think like it does amplify. Like last year, like I was the new EA athlete, and I was the first woman, and there was like a lot of pressure, and like I kind of really enjoyed that because no, I didn't have. It was one of my worst performances, but I enjoyed it because I learned so much from it. Like doesn't matter like pressure will never make you better. Like pressure will make you better, but to an extent, right? You have to know how to control it, and if you can't control it, like that's where you'll make your mistakes and just enjoy being there. And like it was cool. Yeah, I think this year will be a bit different for me as like I know what to expect, and I know
Right.
yeah, I'm a little bit more focused already. So
And experience that comes with experience too, right? Yeah.
yeah, like I'm still super new to the international stage. Like I did the Arnold Amateur, but before that, like I didn't really do any big stage. Like I've never done OSG, unfortunately, and yeah, I don't think I've ever. I don't know. Other than that, it was all like smaller shows, like pro shows in Canada or pro shows in the States, but no international big stage. I went to actually I went to Spain once, but it was only like four of us, so it wasn't like a big show. Like it was no, like there was only like four of us. Yeah, there wasn't a big show, but yeah. So the Shaw Classic was one of the first big international show for me, and yeah, I learned a lot. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great, and it'll be interesting if they start to like try to add like a path forward for like women of now that like the Arnold Strong Woman Classic's a thing. It'll be
Right.
interesting to see if like that goes off, and then like even then of what is it? Giants Live had like World's Strongest Nation where they did that kind of like mix thing. Like there are getting more opportunities, which
Yeah,
is huge to see.
So much, and like I hope that Rogue Invitational brings us, and I hope that we keep to go back at next year at the Arnolds, and I see the opportunities are coming. I think Giants Live is heading into the right direction for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think you keep putting up those huge dumbbell presses.
I just need someone to call me and pay me to do 200.
Right. I mean, it's bound to happen. I mean, women's strongman or strong woman has grown so dramatically in just the last couple of years. I mean, the trajectory is moving in the right direction. So yeah. I think it's got a very positive future ahead of it. And I mean, for you as well. So I think it would be awesome if somebody would give you that call too. And I mean, a 200-pound dumbbell at 82 or under 82 kilograms is insane in my opinion.
You think so? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be there, honestly, like now that I felt 195 so quick and so good, I'm like, I'm gonna hit 200 and then like I'll be raising the bar because I'm not done.
Yeah, because that after a while, yeah, like you said, the bar is going to keep going up, and like
beat some of the men
100 kilos, like
I know,
get to that point.
I beat some of the men on the submission for the Shaw Classic.
I was noticing that. Well, I was like, that's really impressive.
Well, that's what makes it really impressive is, I mean, men of the same weight class are not putting up that much weight on very, very often. So yeah, I mean it's incredible.
It's cool.
Yeah. The sport's taken off hugely. Like it's interesting comparing it like the progression to like strongman. Like the weights have gone up so exceptionally in strongman, but it's interesting to like look back even like 2 decades ago at the what kind of weights they were doing and say now that you have like people like Victoria Long with her like massive deadlift and stuff. Like she still had more in the tank. I wish they had given her a 4th attempt. That's like
she's gonna have a shot at it this year for money.
Oh yeah,
there's rumors out there.
Possibly the Chaos halftime show.
Oh yes, that's it. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, it has to be. I was like,
yeah, that would be so cool. I think I would. I don't know who the second girl is, but I'm hoping it's like Lucy.
Yeah. So it's like people put up some pretty impressive things.
Yeah, she'll pull 700. No, like, yeah, she'll pull it for a fight, but maybe not that much of a fight either. Like she's strong.
Mm-hmm. I was like, that's going to be an interesting one because I was guessing it's Andrea Thompson and Victoria Long because like it's a short height for Andrea, maybe because she was only like 2 kilos under or something.
Oh yeah, true.
Thing. So she all around is like it's crazy when I realize that she's not even very tall.
No,
stuff too for that power.
Yeah,
she's like 5'2" or something or 5'4". Like it's not.
Just see her triceps, man. She has some of the most impressive triceps ever.
Yeah, Big Laws, his athletes have had like a crazy year between like Hooper and Andrea Thompson. Like it's wild to like watch him like commentate, and he always tries to stay objective, but it's like it's his athletes. Like that's one of the funniest things listening to Big Laws when he's like I don't know if she's gonna take this attempt. I would say maybe don't take this, but she's gonna do it. Like it's funny, but yeah, he's like, and then of course like Hooper's nice for the Canadians because he's like watching his YouTube videos. It's like the most Canadian thing ever. And stuff. It's like that's my Canadian content is like Mitchell Hooper's YouTube, and then like Letterkenny is like kind of that thing.
Funny, yeah.
Letterkenny's such a good show. So I think that's on Crave too, which is the Thunder Bay documentary channel. Mm-hmm. So I'm like,
Letterkenny.
Yeah, so that's always a good one. Everything. But yeah, if there was one event that you could drop from strongman events, which one would it be? Because the next one was the stone tossing or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I was like, I was like that one. Did you even like? How would you train for that? Did you just like?
I was just
fucking stones.
I was like, what is this? What am I doing? Like, I was just like, in the gym. I'm like, what's the technique? And I was just like, I don't know. It was really weird. Like I couldn't get faster because like the sandbag was like always so like not solid. But one thing I took away from that event is that like it was a lot of core work. Like I was so like my abs were on fire after that event, which is so weird because it's rare enough that it happens. But like it was for me, it was all like core explosive. Right. I messed up on my second throw, which would have been my best throw, I think. But it was fun. It was cool. I just hope I never do it again. I'd rather drop one thing like on a strongman.
Yeah, I think the only person that was excited for that was Tom Evans.
Tom Evans.
What did he say?
Because he's a throwing coach, so like it was already in his wheelhouse.
And he was like, it's the only thing that no one else will be good at, so he knows like knows what it'll be. But it was funny like watching people train for that of just like sandbags or like Atlas stones or just like whatever. I was like, because there's no good technique for that. I was like, that's a 100-pound thing just trying to throw it. You're like, do you just keep it above you and just use momentum or like chest?
It was and then people were trying to get our attention when we were in the back because they wanted to give us pointers between our attempts. I'm like, I've been training one technique for like the last 8 weeks. I'm not going to change on the fly because you're telling me that the elevation of the rock at this distance away from your chest. I'm like, oh, I'm going there to do the best that I can. Like this was like for me, it was like a wild card.
Yeah, it's easy to say. It's easy to say, and another to apply the day of, right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's like people who change their equipment like the day of or something, and you're like,
not a
that's
great
crazy.
Man.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, that makes a big difference and stuff. But your deadlifts come a huge way too. I was like, it was very
Yeah,
impressive watching your triple for the Shaw
yeah.
thing.
I had a really good deadlift like when I first started too. Like my best pull is 535, but this was like nearly 3.5 years ago, like before my injury. It's the one lift that I've had a really hard time not getting back to like the strength that I was back then, but form is not even comparable. Like now I can pull like no, my 515 wasn't the prettiest, but I pulled 515 like a fishing rod way before. I used to like I just used to be just strong with no form, and now leading up to like my that was like a 3 RM for me. 3 RM, like 99% effort. So, but anything like else, like my form's come a long way, and I've had to, because that would be the one of the biggest. It was the like the for me for pushing down, like my pelvis would get like on fire for like days after I would deadlift. So I have had to change a lot, use more of my quads. That's why like I pump like Justin. That's really focused me on my deadlift the last year. He was a powerlifting coach, so we brought him on for like our squat and deadlift, and he's like changed both of my lifts because these are like two of the compounds I wasn't able to do really comfortably after my injury. And I know as a strength athlete, I need my legs. I need to grow legs. Like, yeah, I can use machines. Like, I know bodybuilders do it all the time, but like, one, deadlift is one of the events that it's always in strongman, but two, squats is still a very, very like powerful movement, right? So he brought me on and he's fixed my deadlift, and my deadlift form is it's way better than it's ever been. I just haven't been able to kind of get back to those like numbers yet, but it's coming, and at least now I know that I can hit 500 um, at like on any kind of day, like not any day, but I'm back up in the five or back up in the high 400s, 500.
And
Nice.
that really is impressive. Of like, I think, and we've talked about it multiple times on the show here. Of like, people, strongmen should look to powerlifters for deadlifting. Of like,
Yeah,
you have so many powerlifters who are doing things with no suits, no straps, and like pulling insane
yeah,
numbers and everything. And
What's
the
weird
technique,
about that
yeah,
though is that wasn't the case too long ago. There's been a big
yeah.
switch, I think, because I remember reading powerlifters were saying, we should be watching the strongmen because their deadlifts are stronger than ours, and that was like completely. Apparently, they were doing their homework.
yeah,
They really did their homework. Well,
yeah.
like
I
some
mean,
of like, yeah,
yeah, we
it's
can all
crazy.
follow a program like a 3x3 program, and like, yeah, you'll get stronger, but like you're gonna hit a wall. You're gonna hit your full potential with that shittier form if you're not using your full potential, every muscle in your body to death. You have to know how to use every inch of your body to
Yeah.
death, like from your brain all the way down to your toes. And like when you can like find what works the best for you, and I think that's where you can get to your better potential. But there's always going to be something to fix. Like, are you like weaker on the floor and do band work, right? If you're weaker at the top, well, you gotta work more on the end part of your pole, and vice versa. But powerlifters are really good technical because I think the best of the best, anyways, they keep progressing and they keep pushing the bar. And powerlifting, it's ridiculous now. Like the numbers that everyone's putting up there, especially like the women's side again, like
Hmm.
it's insane. And
Yeah.
but they're doing their homework. They're constantly doing their homework on squat, bench, deadlift. So they're evolving a little bit more on their bench and deadlift, on their bench and squat, I think, than we are because we're focused on 35 other events.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
true.
Yeah,
And also, not training with a hitch, I think, really helps your power and like maintaining consistent tightness and stuff. Because I
yeah,
think so many people, it's crazy to like watch. As soon as you hit 80%, you're hitching every rep
yeah,
or something. Whereas powerlifting, there's a reason why like Half Thor's 501 was like pretty clean and stuff because he could do a powerlifting style
yeah.
deadlift at a high weight. And I think that makes a difference because you keep everything super engaged and stuff. Like you'll watch John Hack's deadlift videos, like you can actually watch his triceps feather because his whole body's so tight as he
I
like
know. Yeah,
goes
that's
up.
so
That man
true.
is a monster as far as deadlifts,
He's
though.
incredible. He's insane.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
He made me watch one of his last shows there. I don't remember a few. My coach was there. I think it was in Florida, and like I was like, "Who's this?" Like I think he's the one with the Captain America suit.
yeah,
Uh,
the Captain America singlet.
Singlet,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I'm just like, he's not a big guy. Like, he's a big guy, but doesn't look too tall, and like he's so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, 900 pounds at 198, like that's pretty astounding. Of like,
Yeah.
I think it was
Super
like
astounding.
9 something that he pulled, and with no straps. And the way his technique's wild, he just
know.
like does that like wide arms thing with the Captain America thing. It's like peak America like patriotism watching him lift, because it's
So
just like
much.
he just gets his air and then he just goes down and just like pulls it up, just like, and you're like, that's so
He's not-
much times your body weight.
His legs, yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll be interesting.
He's got a strong back. That's
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying. He's got a very, very strong back.
Yes,
Posterior
yeah,
pain.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that makes a big difference, like you said. And I think like watching your lifting and stuff, like you have such technical proficiency of like nailing that, like having a more powerlifting style deadlift and stuff. And then like, of course, your circus dumbbell, like that's just
Yeah.
miles ahead of anyone at this point. And
It's
stuff.
good. It's good.
It's
I'm
good.
on my journey, but there's a lot of women that are still like keeping, like, don't be pushing me, but like
Mhm.
this is like my journey, because like I really like the implement. It like, I don't know, it grounds me. Like, I felt like it's cool. It's one of the best things that I can do. Like, when I do my circus dumbbell training, it's like I get to like mute the rest of the world and just train like circus dumbbell, and it's cool because it's working, and so I'm riding the wave, going hard at it.
Yeah. Because it
Well-
really is. It's like that body awareness makes a huge difference. Because like you can't just like muscle it through. Like you have to
No.
like be, everything's on point. You can't just
Yeah.
like, and you can if you have if you have the right judges, you can just kind of wing it. but
know.
most
Oh.
people think technique.
That's a shot below the belt, John.
I know. I'm sorry. I just had to
Yeah.
like get one last shot, and mainly because like your thing, your video should be up there as like a tutorial of like, here's how you do it, like
Yeah.
the perfect explosiveness and catching that.
Jump
We're
and
excited to
catch.
see how you do, like, because it's going to be in 15 weeks is good prep time, because it's nice that like you don't have anything in between that.
Yeah.
It's like
and
the Arnold was a heavy show.
I hope they do a heavy show. Yeah, I hope they don't take the average, because I feel like it's gonna be like, it could be like, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
It's a little bit heavier than like, I don't.
Because
I
getting
don't
double
want to say.
digits, like yeah.
Well, what if it could be between like one? I would say, well, that's not fair, but let's say 150.
Yeah.
I would like a 150 dumbbell for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But
Which is crazy,
probably
because some
gonna be
like small
21
men's shows
or-
do that. Like
I
some
know.
like heavyweight shows have like that is their weight that they'll do.
Yeah, I know.
So that's wild to think that 150 is like a doable. You're like, that'll be a good amount of reps.
I think it would be, but it would challenge me. Like, I've done one. My best set of 6 was 155
Wow.
or 150. No, 155. Yeah, and I did like 2 or 3 sets of 6, and like it felt good. But I'd like to push to see, like, in a show, like how much I could do at a decent weight. I think there's not a lot of women's up there that are above 150. So
No.
I think, yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, because that
But-
was like Jackie Rhodes and Mel were like the
Yeah.
highest ones there.
Yeah.
And stuff.
So I think they'll bring it down to like probably 120, 130, the average.
Yeah, they should just go for a record thing, just like heaviest one.
1RM.
Just-
Oh my god.
you would love that.
At Brian Shaw's, I swear to God, if they announce a 1RM circus dumbbell at Brian Shaw's last show of his life, I am going to lose it, and I'll be pressing 100 kilo.
Yeah,
Hell
no, it's
yeah.
there,
That would be
especially once you have
sick.
that energy.
I don't know then, but then it's always hard to break your own records, right? So do I go to like that big? But it'd be fucking cool to like do
Yeah.
something just like. But yeah, I know. We'll see.
You'd be so far ahead of
200.
people, though.
200.
Like no, like it would be hard for anyone to come for that record.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm gonna hold you to that, to 100 kilos.
100 kilos.
It's got to happen eventually.
I know it's gonna.
Yeah, I mean 195. As easy as that
185,
looked.
187, 180, 190, 192.
Yeah.
like Big Z did. Big Z did break
exactly
17 times.
But the only thing with Big Z is I don't know that he ever truly met his potential at his best by doing that. So he left a lot. He left a lot on the table. I think. I think the same is true with Brian doing the Alice Stones. I think he left his best for too late. Because I think he was capable.
What you mean.
I think he was capable of where Tom is now at his prime.
At his prime.
Yeah.
So we would say just full send.
Just full send. Full send.
Yeah, full send.
I mean, unless there is money, right? I mean, I don't disagree with that when there's money on the line every year.
It would be nice. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Rogue, because I did a Max Circus for the Rogue. This was 3 years ago. They did it at the Record Breaker in Ohio. The beginning of COVID, we got there and it was like the Arnold COVID, and Christian Rhodes and Donna Moore hit the 175 dumbbell for the world record, and I came short. And they never did it again afterwards. I've been asking for it, but
well, they need to put cash up for that because 100 kilos is a huge number, especially
that would be insane.
Or even 200 pounds, right? Like I think would be a pretty good start.
It would be a very really good start.
But definitely do full send. Don't just add 2 kilos every year.
Brett, John's still bitter that Hathor didn't do 1,020 or 520.
I am so bitter. Namely, because he promised all the Twitch subscribers he would go for 520, and it was clearly in the tank. That would have been like, I don't think anyone could even touch that. Like, I think they'd give up trying to pass that.
I don't know why. And like, look, he tore his pec. Like, I want him to hit a big fucking, and just to kind of to prove, because he's a great athlete. I fucking love that guy. Like, he's like athlete, like he's an amazing athlete. He deserves a big deadlift, and I'd like to see him hit 520.
Yeah.
Is that watching him train? Yeah, he's really great. There's a good YouTube video of him and Jamal Brown are like the two guys who have pulled like 501 or whatever. Jamal's done it sumo, but it was still like a fun video, like watching them
sumo, no suit, together. Hook grip.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, he's the one who does those insane, like every week he'll just like post some random thing of like, and people will be like, oh, it's sumo. And then his next video will be like 800 some pounds conventional for like 5 or 6
reps.
Yeah. And you're like, he's still super strong. But his thing with that's one of the best videos online is the first time he hit 500 kilos sumo. And he just looks so jazzed and his eyes are just like bloodshot and red. And he's just like,
it was sick. I remember Max was like,
good.
We need this bar. And then we got it now.
Nice.
Oh, it's a fun bar to pull on because it's just
so
like
fun.
Yeah, no bar compares to the Kabuki bar. That's just like that
bar because we were at a commercial gym 4 weeks prior to moving to our gym, so we were pulling on a stiff fucking bar like at a commercial gym, like shit, but we pulled 4 weeks solid, did our work, get the fuck out of there, and then when we hit back on that Kabuki bar, that's why I hit 515 for a triple.
Yeah, nice.
Like, hit 507 at the Arnold's for my 1RM. Like, I did so much solid deadlift work after the Arnold's on a shitty bar, on a shitty plate, like in a corner at a gym, just like no carpet, right? Everyone's staring at you because like
nobody can lift like even half of that at the global gym.
At
a public gym for a woman to be pulling 500 pounds is like, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's
even like it was crazy because like there was like mirrors all around in front of the gym, and I put one plate, all right. And then Joey gets in. My training partner is a big guy. Like, everyone sees him when he walks into the gym. And then you have Max. He was on crutches for most of the time. But, like, everyone knew, like, oh, the strongman people are in the gym, right? So we take over. We go in our corner. And then, like, 1 plate, 2 plate, 3 plate, 4 plates. And everyone's just like, what? And, like, I would start deadlifting. I would look in the mirror, and I could see, like, 10 set of eyes just, like... And I'm like, like, stop. But it's cool. I'm just like, but they like, and everyone stays quiet, right? Like, everyone puts back their headphones, go back to work. I'm like, you guys can come and give me high fives or like come and fucking cheer for me. I'm human, just like you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
100%, we need, hopefully someone put a bug in Brian's ear to have like a max circus dumbbell thing, because looking at Joey's numbers, to have both of you put up huge numbers, because like he confidently hit over 300 pounds, like solidly, like, so that does need to happen. It's
He
Brian's
wants
last show.
like if there's. He told me today we were. Oh my god, he's so funny. And he came in today and he's like, if there's a max circus dumbbell at the Shaw Classic, Sam, I'm going for the world record. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Which is 30, I think. I'm like,
yeah, 150K, yeah. And it's been held now for a few years by Kiliskowski.
Yeah, the Arnold 2020, 2019.
Yep.
2020, yeah.
And that's a good excuse for why sometimes you have to do full send, because Mateusz has been struggling recently. So it's like you put up those things while you can.
I know.
Right. Exactly.
True.
So I'm like, his pressing, like I still remember that press, and then his stone to shoulder was like the wildest thing to like watch guys not even be able to lap the stone. And then he was just like went for 5 reps, and you're like, it's astounding to watch that happen on the world stage.
It's crazy. I know. We were at Arnold, and then to come at the dumbbell and just press it, I was like, what? Like it was crazy in that hall that night. It was insane. He's such a phenomenal presser.
Yes.
He's good at all. Like what he's really good at, he's really good. But he also, I don't know, he was good. Like these last 2 shows, like we've obviously seen a different him, but
I mean, he's still podiumed at Arnold. So So I mean, it was surprising to see him not make the finals at Worlds.
I know.
So, but I mean, hopefully he heals and comes back strong. I mean, he's still relatively young.
Because he's only like 26 or something now, 27, somewhere around there.
Because he's young.
That's also a testament to his strength, is when people be like, "This isn't the Mateusz we know," and I'm like, he's torn ruptured his tricep, he's torn his lat, he's had back problems, and people are like, "Oh man, like poor him, like this is not a good performance." I'm like, getting on the world stage and podium, like
it's still really good.
Solid.
Yeah,
so very good.
Yeah. I hope he can get back from it. Like, I hope he keeps up with it. And he doesn't get motivated, because after 4 tricep injury tear, like, holy fuck, like I'd be fine.
Yes, I agree. But I mean, another testament to his persistence and willpower, man.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would have given up by now.
True. Very true.
And his training, that little cabin just in the middle of like nowhere.
I know.
In the wood stove. It's his rogue bio thing was one of the most iconic things.
It was so cool. I know. And then Bingle Fingers in the middle of nowhere. They probably fall and it doesn't make noise because nobody hears it. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. No, those rogue videos were really cool. They made a bunch of the athletes. I think it was so cool.
Yeah. And your Bells of Steel one was pretty cool too. So that's nice that you have a sponsor that's like so invested of like the equipment and stuff. Like I think it's been nice hearing that you and Inez, like both of you have had really good sponsors helping you out and stuff. I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean like for our preps and stuff?
Yeah. Like preps and then like equipment and like just
my God,
taking care of you all.
Surrounded by the best teams. Like me and Max are like, I said me and Max. Max and I, that's my French. And I myself like that. Max and I have had like really good like people in our corner, just like people that believe in us, and like, it's cool to be able to be at a level where like not matchable to Max, but like I'm getting there and I'm getting on that scene with him, and like the sponsors, they love having a duo and like a pair that's really like one of the strongest in the world, and we have really good people to work with. Like ever since we started working with Brian and Carrie, like I feel like they're the ambassadors or like the models that we needed to look up to, and like now we can just like we like talk to them all the time, and like we get feedbacks from them, and they're really open to us, and that's why like everything's been like kind of like a snowball effect since we met them, because it's all been really good shit happening. So
yeah, it has been good. I also want to congratulate you on being like one of our first guests who didn't ask us if it's okay to swear on the show. For some reason, like, I don't know why it's like over half our guests will ask. They're like, is it okay if I swear on the show?
I feel like that's so not Canadian of me of not.
Right?
I know. I was impressed by it. I was like, because most, like, all the time people like start to say, they're like, oh, wait, I'm like, this is YouTube.
Sorry.
And I'm like, that's the point. It's YouTube.
Okay,
Do it.
cool.
Like,
And I'm like, you haven't watched our show, have you? If you have to ask that.
Hey, true. Fuck.
yeah.
Um.
Oh, it's,
Well, hey, we're
yeah.
getting on to an hour and
Oh, whoa.
15 minutes.
I
We
did
like
not
to
realize that.
try to keep them about an hour.
Cool.
So
Thank-
we're already over. So any final words, Sam, for our viewers? Where can people find you? Any final thoughts?
Well, thank you for having me. I always like to
Yeah.
chat about my experiences and talk about random stuff, I guess, about our sport and where our sport's going. It's kind of cool. But I appreciate what you guys are doing, putting the word out there about all kinds of subject around strongman. And you guys can follow me on Instagram, I guess. It's Sam Belliveau. And then we do have a YouTube channel as well for Max Boudreau and Sam Belliveau. And again, thanks, guys, for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
It was a
Thank you
pleasure.
so much.
Thank
This
you.
is
Hey,
great.
good luck on your prepping for Shot Classic.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Support us on Patreon or Anchor, and find us on Instagram or Facebook.